Welcome, everyone. This is once again your host, Shailesh, bringing you live, as we always do, emotional well-being topics that matters to all of us as humans. So today I have got the pleasure and a amazing speaker, guest speaker that we have today called Chelsey, all the way from States. And she's going to talk to us about a lot of things. As we say, the topic today is amazing for all of us because we all live in those moments of subconscious and conscious mind. And so human mind is the most powerful mind. So let's uncover and discover what Chelsey is all about when it comes to human mind's consciousness. So before that, I would like to just say a few words on Chelsey, but rather than me describing, let's Chelsey describe her in her own words. So, but little bit about Chelsey is she's from States. She is a dynamic coach and dedicated to unleashing the creative genius within individuals. So we are going to have a lot of individual perspectives, but the individual perspectives are related to subconscious and conscious mind. And so something that we all like to say that our opinions, our perspectives, but what are we doing with those? Are we doing through subconscious mind or are we doing through conscious mind? So all these transformational and everything that we empower ourselves and we discover ourselves, let's going to be talking about all of these things. But so I want to welcome Chelsey from States all the way to talk a topic on human mind consciousness. Welcome, Chelsey, to our beautiful episode of these emotional well-being topics that we do, which is all freedom of free spirited, to talk about every human has got freedom to speak, but to speak about their experiences, speak about their wisdom is one of the most amazing thing that we all can help and support everyone, each other through our topics. So welcome, Chelsey, and we welcome you to this beautiful episode. Tell us something about you, Chelsey.
Hi. Yes, thank you for having me. So my journey in all of this started originally with dream analysis, which
Right.
is my one of my main tools is exploring dreams. Um, and I love Carl Jung, so I've studied Jungian psychology a lot and started bringing it into the coaching space about 4 years ago. And
Mhm.
so it's been quite the journey of learning how dreams interact and how we interact with dreams. But it's also taught me my own journey of self-discovery, watching it with my clients. And also, I believe dreams teach us how consciousness works, which for me really has become an inspiration of this. What is consciousness? How does it interact with the universe around us? And to what level can we really take it to? So I love it because it really shows human potential on a consciousness level, which then I then created this space of creative genius. What does it look like when we're interacting with our soul, our subconscious mind, and our conscious mind? And how do we utilize all of this to exist in our own genius on a day-to-day basis? Um, I feel like when we are tapped into ourselves on these type of levels, we not only do we change our world and our reality, but we change the reality around us and influence our communities and our society. So I do see it as like a micro and macro
Mm,
thing that influences itself. And it's very exciting because, in today's world, we got a lot going on. A lot of people are evolving and changing levels of consciousness and of
mm,
self-awareness are
mm,
expanding very
mm.
quickly and rapidly.
Right.
So I think a lot of people find these topics interesting. They're noticing it with themselves first, and that's kind of like the beginning of the journey. And I like to help my clients really learn the journey within themselves on that level, but then how do they utilize it and create leverage in their life and really expand? And how big do you really want to get in life and your experiences or whatever your dream or goals are?
Oh,
So a
that's
little bit of
beautiful.
yeah,
Yeah, no, you're right, absolutely right. And being from a spiritual perspective, I always resonate with your thoughts. That, but let's go back to this beautiful topic that we have started doing. I wanted to ask you, like, what is it first is subconscious mind and a conscious mind? Let's begin from there to start with, like, according to your vision or your experiences and your views. How do you define a subconscious and a conscious mind? First,
yeah.
start on that.
Well, if we think about it, your conscious mind is just the level of consciousness that you're aware of. which for most people, we're at a very slim amount. So what your
Mm-hmm.
brain capacity is of everything that your subconscious mind is picking up, your conscious mind is only maybe a small slither, or 10% of
Mm-hmm.
what that is, the
Right.
capacity, right?
Right.
So a lot of the things that are going on in your subconscious mind are the automated systems or the background programming,
Yeah.
that keeps your body going, your breathing, but
Mm.
it's also belief systems and habits, which people call subconscious behaviors and things that are always kind of on automated or autopilot.
Yeah.
Where your conscious mind is what you're putting your direct focus on,
Mm-hmm.
or you're aware of, right? So when we are able to consciously explore a subconscious mind, I think we are expanding our consciousness in that level.
Right.
Um, so I just kind of in layman's terms a
Yeah.
little bit on
Sure,
that.
sure.
So I don't want
So
to
do
be
you,
too like by the book on it.
no, no. So do you think that the contribution of when people talk about memories, like we have got certain memories that we act on or that we react on or that we automatically subconsciously react to or take actions because of certain memories are there inside us. How do you think the memories play an important role in our life? In everyone's life, there is certain memories that we all come with.
Yeah.
And how does that affect our subconscious mind and conscious mind when it comes to taking actions?
It's huge. Our perception, first off, is a big key role in all of those experiences.
Mm,
So if you perceive something to be, say, negative, and
mm,
then your subconscious mind is going to store all this information and reprogram itself to interact with it in the future. So let's say if you have a bad experience with a spider or a snake, right?
mhm, mhm,
And you remember it subconsciously, it is in your system that snake bad, snakes
mm,
bite, or you're
mm,
afraid. So then it
mm,
automatically creates this belief system. It's programmed in, and you have these natural reactions to it. Some
mm.
people even will call it like gut instinct sometimes too,
Yeah,
which
yeah, yeah, yeah. Uh-huh.
you know, and you can see that in a lot of ways. So if you want to go back through, you can reprogram those experiences by changing your perspective, right? So I always say when you're working with the subconscious mind, if you're ever
Mm,
trying to rewire something or
mm.
retrain the program to have different responses, your perception of it has to first kind of
Right,
change in that
right, right.
experience. But
Right.
so it's kind of a simple thing, but it can get complex when people are going through trauma or really severe things.
Mm, mm.
And that can be very challenging. But
Sure.
yeah, kind of in a basic way, that would be a good example of the subconscious mind.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. So, which is good or bad? Is there anything good or bad when you use subconscious mind or conscious mind, or is it just how do you measure what you are doing or what your actions are? How do you measure? It is subconsciously taken action, consciously, and whether it is good, bad. What
I
is
don't
the right thing, or what?
Um,
How
I
do
don't
you?
necessarily think it's like the subconsciousness is a bad thing, but I think we look at our subconsciousness like you would your house. If you don't go around cleaning and maintaining and
Yeah.
keeping things intact, right? It's
Mm,
going to start falling apart. Things are going to get messy and it turns into chaos.
mm,
Same with your subconscious mind. So if you're not aware or consciously aware of how to interact with your subconscious mind
mm,
and maintenance it and yourself, it turns into a mess. So I've had a lot of clients who come to me that
mm,
have never done any of that work.
mm,
So
mm,
we tend to have to go through at the beginning stages of we do like a 1 year program, right? So the first
mhm,
couple of months, we're usually going through and we're cleaning up the mess, retidying it up, where I call rewiring it. But in the sense of kind of working through some of that stuff, changing your perspective, noticing the belief systems or the habits or behaviors that come from the subconscious mind. Um, and reverting it around, organizing
mhm.
it so that you can move forward. So it's really hard to move forward or to utilize it as a tool when it's kind of a mess. Uh, so it's one of those things that, yeah, you got to kind of go through and
Go
some
through
people call it
and
the healing journey. I'm sure there's some healing involved too, but it's a
yeah,
lot of just understanding how does the brain work, going through,
yeah.
fixing it up, getting it ready to progress forward type of thing.
Yeah.
Um,
So when it comes to, restrictions of your own limits or restriction of your own skills or restriction of your own power that you have, but when you follow a certain pattern of, say, subconscious or when you follow conscious, how does it affect and impact for your own goals, for your own power to achieve? Tell me something about that because I would be interested to know that I can
yeah.
start doing subconsciously or consciously.
Oh yeah. So when your conscious mind and your subconscious mind are on the same page,
Yeah.
wanting something, let's say you want to work a goal, like maybe it's a promotion at work or you want to
Yeah.
buy a new house, right?
Mm-hmm.
I know a lot of
Manifest.
manifestation techniques will talk about this too. So anyone who's watching or familiar with these things, you can kind of connect the dots on this. It's the idea that when you consciously program your subconscious mind
Mm-hmm.
to have certain things in alignment with what you want. You're like, okay, I want to have the job promotion or I want to have a certain opportunity. Your subconscious mind is constantly working towards that, even in the background. So you don't even have to consciously be thinking about it because your subconscious mind is doing a lot of the work behind the scenes.
Mm-hmm.
So, and it's seeking the opportunity, you're seeing it, and it will make choices for you without you consciously always catching on. So your subconsciousness is usually about 10 steps ahead of you consciously. So when you understand how significant that is,
Mm-hmm.
you are able to sit there and kind of really put it in your own program. Okay, this is what I want. This is how we want to get there. Um, your subconscious mind is very innovative and creative and out of the box thinking too. So, like what you think you're consciously going to do to get there, your subconscious mind is going to go, okay, that's cute, but it's actually going to be like this. And it sees the opportunity and it will take it. So, a lot of people, as an example, I've had people show up in my coaching spaces and they're like, I don't really when I first started doing the dream analysis portion, they're like, I don't really know exactly why I said yes to coming. And I kind of giggle and I go, well, I guess it's your subconscious mind making the decisions for you.
Yeah.
But it's this idea that you can either your subconscious mind can basically be in charge without you consciously being aware of it. So we call it autopilot. I know Joe Dispenza talks
Yeah.
about this in his books too, which, it's not a new thing, but it's becoming more aware of how the subconscious mind works in relation to the conscious mind. So it's good when they're both on the same page
Mm.
and working towards the same goal. And that's kind of just like a basic thing. When you understand that, then you can really take the potential and get as creative as you want with it.
Right.
Um,
Right.
yeah.
Also, just on that, while you are there, you said rightly, I wanted to use these words like, okay, people manifest, people have visions, but then to achieve that or to do that, or even to take slightest of actions, you need that conscious mind or you need that subconscious attitude or whatever we call it as a human mind. It's a boldest of decisions in your journey at that point, because either you follow a conscious mind or you follow a subconscious, but your goals and your visions and your manifestation, you want to achieve it, right?
Mhm.
So that boldest decision, how hard it is for our mind to take those decisions and actions, how hard it is for our mind in your view.
It can be difficult. Everyone's a little different, but I have worked with
Hmm.
some clients who, it okay, so when in your conscious mind, your ego exists in your conscious mind, right?
Correct. That's where I'm
So,
getting.
yeah, and that's probably one of the hardest parts. So when we
Correct.
psychoanalyze yourself into different aspects, right? You have a couple characters that exist in your conscious mind, then you have these other parts of yourself that exist in your subconscious mind.
Correct.
Sometimes people call it, two different wolves that exist within you, right? Feed
Hmm.
one
Hmm.
type of thing. And I say, screw that, feed them both,
Hmm.
because they both have actually a purpose within the system.
Hmm.
And so working with the ego has kind of been interesting experience because
Yeah.
it's honestly what it's trying to do is trying to manage the system, which is its job,
Mm,
and it tries to keep everything existing properly within the rules of like society and what you have set for yourself. So these
mm,
are your belief systems and your habits and the way
correct.
you believe you should be, right?
Mm,
So to get your ego to explore your subconscious mind and to accept and understand the rest of the system and to allow it to come to surface is definitely a process, but that's kind of what I've seen a lot of like having to do with my clients.
mm.
Um, some easier than others, depending, some people are definitely more difficult. But
Mm,
honestly, at the end of the day, I don't think the ego is a bad thing. I think it just truly wants to understand. So when you put it in a safe environment where your ego can actually explore these things and understand the value of it, when it sees the value in these parts of yourself, then
mm,
it allows it to kind of come across into your
mm,
conscious parts of yourself,
mm,
or what I call holding the platform. And
Right.
this is quite common with the IFS, or the internal family system, which is just another
Mhm.
way to psychoanalyze yourself. It's a
IFS, is it?
I love it.
International Family System. That's a good term.
Yeah, because we are an external family, but we all also have it within
Our
ourselves too.
internal.
So you got your inner child, your masculine side, your
Oh,
feminine, your
wow.
soul. And throughout life, we kind of tend to have other aspects of ourselves, or at different age groups.
Mm-hmm.
So you do view yourself in different parts if you realize it or not. So
Mm-hmm.
and I enjoy doing it personally as a great way, because I love psychoanalysis a lot. So for me, it helps breaking it down and seeing, okay, what's coming from where, how do
Mm-hmm.
we incorporate it and allow it? So
Yeah.
it's very
Okay.
fascinating in that kind of nerdy kind of way.
Yeah, yeah. No, that's why I'm quite now increasing my knowledge about these things, which is good, uncovering.
Yeah.
So coming back to this, then what do you think our all human mind that we all humans have is based on so many aspects, so many things, but also human mind is aspiring and dreaming, and your topic is also like coming from dreams. So your
Mhm.
mind is the first point of contact for all your dreams, basically.
Yeah.
That the mind starts thinking about dreaming, and then you have these converted those dreams into implementation or visions or manifestation, whatever you call it, and then you want to do those dreams, to put those dreams into reality or make them reality. So it starts from human mind. How do you define this? Everyone has got a unique human mind, but when it comes to navigating our own mind, how would you describe to all the listeners who are listening? Obviously, they have got all different minds. They must be thinking from a different perspective when they are listening to you. And now, what would you say that human minds, if you have to define, or if you want to say that, okay, you want to do good for yourself, then this mind, all of our human mind, is the starting point. But how do you navigate that human mind?
So I like to keep it simple because sometimes it gets very complex. So
Hmm.
what I do with my Way of Genius program is I break it down into three parts. I know
Uh-huh.
we've been talking about the subconscious and conscious mind a lot, but there's also the soul too.
Correct.
Right. So the soul is what I describe as the vision, the visionary, right?
Okay.
When your
Yeah.
subconscious mind is the innovator and the creative thinker. And then
Mm-hmm.
your conscious mind takes inspired action based off of what's going on in those two parts of yourself.
Mm-hmm.
So if you first want to start from anywhere, I just say, what is your vision? Just
Mm-hmm.
overthink a lot of these things, but if you just go into like a quiet and meditative space, even, and you just try to envision, what do you want to be experiencing? If
Mm.
there were no rules, no regulation, you weren't limited in your own belief system, what do you want to be experiencing?
Yeah.
Like you're here, your background is an island, right? Let's say,
Mhm.
do you want to be existing on an island? Do you want a home on the beach? Well,
Yeah.
let's go into this vision and start picturing yourself in it. Your soul will kind of start bringing this image to life within your imagination. And it brings in other pieces and puzzles to the place, right? And this is your soul doing this. And
Mhm.
then you take it to your subconscious mind. And I
Mhm.
usually say, then you talk to your subconscious mind and go, what is it that's happening in my subconscious behavior that's blocking me from experiencing this?
Mhm.
And I always say these parts of yourself whisper to you, right? And they give you the wisdom, the knowledge, and the information you're seeking. So your soul whispers its wisdom, the subconscious mind whispers its knowledge, and it's telling you these are the spiderweb effects of patterns and behaviors that are spread all over your life that are keeping you at this certain level when you want to be here, right?
Mhm.
And usually it's a very aha moment when you're in the subconscious
Mhm.
mind. And then you ask the subconscious mind, create a path, light a path up for me to see consciously that I can start taking action on. What can I start doing today to take inspired action? And that's when you take something from the creativity of the subconscious mind and you
Mhm.
transfer it over to your conscious mind and make it tangible and you start taking action towards it. And if you can just break it down into those three main parts of yourself, that's what I call your creative genius.
Mhm.
Um, from there, we can psychoanalyze and pick at it and diagram it into other details, of course, and it
Mhm.
can get quite complex. But I think at the end of the day, when we're able to see the vision of what we want to be experiencing, the soul knows what your values are, it knows what your desires are, it
Mhm.
knows what aligns best with you, right? And
Mhm.
it has this wisdom that comes out of your own self. So you don't have to go seeking it externally necessarily. but then your subconscious mind creates this path of, hey, this is how we can do this, or this is how we can experience it, or this is what's
Mm-hmm.
getting in our way. And then you're consciously doing it and bringing it into your reality.
Mm-hmm.
And that's my favorite process that I like to use in my creative genius program.
Mm-hmm.
If that
Right.
helps, hopefully a little bit.
Yeah, no, no. I think you have quite aligned with the soul aspect, with the conscious and the subconscious and the soul, all three coming together to give you that ultimate aim. And how do you navigate or how do you process it, basically? So in your world, how do you say, what would you say that which is the most important if you had to pick? Subconscious mind or conscious mind? I know it's hypothetical. You can't pick anything, but I'm still want to ask you this question. In your world, is it a possibility that we all humans can pick a conscious mind only and live our life, or a subconscious mind only and live our life, or to be just say that no, whatever my soul is navigating or directing me to, I will just do this way? What is your way of living this journey?
Well, I think you need all of them really to navigate in life, right? And it
Mm.
creates our
Yeah.
own level of consciousness as a whole. But
Mm.
I know that there are people who kind of lean on one more than the others, right?
Yes,
You
yes,
have some
correct,
people who are like
correct,
very much in the spiritual community, who are very much soul led, but
correct,
they are lacking the understanding of their subconscious mind
correct.
and how that's affecting their conscious mind, right? So they might not actually be getting anywhere, but they have the vision of what they want.
Mm,
So they're getting stuck in certain phases. Then
correct.
you've got some people who are existing just strictly in their conscious mind, which is pretty popular, I think, in society. We could say a lot of people are on autopilot, or their subconscious mind is influencing their conscious mind so much that they're not actually aware of the relationship between the two. Um, and that's where people are getting stuck in the same repeated deja vu patterns over and over and over again. And they're
Yes,
wondering,
yes.
why me? Why do I
Yeah,
keep finding myself here?
yeah,
And it's like, well,
that's right, that's right.
you're not paying attention to, like wake up consciously.
Mm,
So I think honestly, at the end of the day, consciousness has to be willing to explore the other parts of the soul and the subconscious mind, and they all have to have this
mm,
function on
mm,
their wheel of
mm,
the, if you think about it as a computer, you don't
mm.
only work with 10% of your computer, right? Or
Yeah.
or a small percentage. You want to have the whole thing functioning and working properly. Same with the brain, or even a car. You don't want to drive a car with three wheels, or two.
So what would you say for a day-to-day life as a human? We all have this subconscious conscious, and as you rightly said, that we all need together. We can't pick and choose, but there are people who pick one over other more and one over other less. All those patterns, we have seen people doing that. But when it comes to your day-to-day living, every single moment with a conscious and a subconscious mind, and when you are doing business or becoming an entrepreneur, or you want to thrive into your business, and is there a different mindset for it to have a subconscious and a conscious mind when you are doing business and when you're doing your day-to-day routine general life? How do you make those kind of, what would you say on those level? Do we have to have a separate mindset when you're doing business, or and when you are doing our normal day-to-day routine work in your life?
I guess that depends on each person individually. Like for me, I have them, it's very much the same. It's for like I have both, like I don't have a different persona in work than I do in my personal life, right? It's
Beautiful.
all
Yeah.
me organically, but I'm also in a space where that's very much like I made it to be so.
Mm,
Um, like I'm not working in corporate or banking where I
mm.
might have to have like a certain
Yeah.
type of thing. Everyone's a little different, but I think ultimately when you psychoanalyze yourself into different parts,
Mm,
it's all you, and
mm,
it's just what part of yourself are you allowing on the platform, right? So we
mm.
have many hats that we wear. So
Great.
I guess in that aspect, yes, like I'm a mother, right? So I have my mom hat. I
Yes.
have, I've got my
Yes.
home and I'm the mom. I run the show. Then when I'm at work working with clients, it might be a little different. When I'm out in public socializing and meeting people, I'm not going to mother them.
Hmm.
So we've got our different aspects of ourselves too. And I think it just depends on what's taking the platform, but they all make up the whole of who you are. And that's why I like the internal family system, because you can always
Mm,
picture it as you're in your main self and you're centered, right? And then you have all these different aspects of yourself that are there in unison with you. And I always call it which one has the microphone. Or, and if you notice it throughout the day, you kind of switching around in that aspect,
yeah,
like
yeah, yeah,
there
yeah.
might be times where my inner child comes out. There's gonna be times where my higher self comes out, or my soul, or I
Yeah.
have more subconscious behavior or parts of that are coming out,
Mm,
we
mm,
do that naturally where we're flipping in and out of these parts if you think about it. And that would be like on a very
mm.
psychoanalysis type of paying attention. Um, so I don't know if everyone's necessarily going to be doing that, but like I'm kind of odd. Like I go around doing that to myself, and I'll notice it in people around me too. So be like, oh, I'm dealing with their masculine side or their feminine side or their motherly side or
Yeah, yeah. I asked you this curiosity because you also are a coach for entrepreneurs, for businesses.
yes.
And then there could be a different type of business, like a gender-wise, a men businessman, a woman businessman, and then you coach all these businesses, entrepreneurs. So do you find that when you coach these different aspects of humans, the minds work differently, or your coaching is across the board same, or do you wear different hats again there as well when it's men business and when it's woman business? How do you?
It depends. I think at the end of the day, everyone's unique and different. So
Yeah.
I feel like I'm the same role no matter what, but what I'm
Mhm.
trying to do is find what works for them. But
Mhm.
because we use the dream analysis in the
Yeah.
sessions, it's their subconscious mind and their psyche that's kind of explaining what's lacking or what is needed. Um,
Hmm.
so it's kind of assisting him in that space. I've noticed if we're going to talk about like which parts come out the most, men and women, there's always this duality of the feminine and masculine and
Hmm.
how that shows in the physical reality. And there's always a demand
Hmm.
for it to be aligned or balanced with each person that's come across in the coaching space. And I think that's because it's normal in society. Um, People tend to be lean towards one or the other, right? And when there really needs to be a balance and they both have their values.
Mm.
And it doesn't necessarily mean men usually are very much in their masculine state. So the feminine is usually deprived
Right.
within their human psyche. And it's actually having dreams where it's demanding for the feminine to come out. And this is their creativity, their innovative side, and different attributes that are more of the feminine characteristic traits. The women usually tend to have a hurt masculine relationship or something with men that's
Mm.
negative, and there's demand for it to be, but
Mm.
it's in their personal life and it's also how it affects in their business too.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
that's quite common is the masculine and feminine role a lot.
Right, right. Now, you said also one of the things I wanted to ask you is like when you coach or when you do this different perspectives of mindful, because the topic is human mind and human mind keeps flipping. And as you said, like we have got so many thoughts that comes to our mind on a regular basis, on a constant basis. And to navigate those thoughts and then create our own kind of what do you call it, pick or choose or mix and match with the subconscious conscious to achieve something. And then when you are on doing some businesses, then you want to achieve something in that strategy. So the strategies that you create or you allow for people when you are coaching, what are the strategies that you use basically that empowers them or that creates them? When you said like it's all about dream analysis, which is quite beautiful to understand what is dream analysis, if I have to put it this way. What would you say that when you coach this, your patterns, your based, everything is on certain elements, which is the dream analysis. Everybody has got a dream to achieve something and to do something, even if not achieve, to do something, to take action, something. When all these things are there and you want to help them to navigate those things so that they can take action, so that they can achieve what they want, what would your coaching style is there? Because there are so many different mindsets, right?
Yeah.
And so do you go by each individual's mindset, or you make them change their mindsets to achieve what they want? I guess everybody has to do some changes in their life to get something, right?
Yeah. I go off of what's going on with them individually. And
Mhm.
even though like I am the coach, I have a couple different strategies I'll use, but at the end of
Mhm.
the day, the subconscious mind is actually directing a lot of what's going on. So like
Mhm.
I always find it very impressive because like it'll show you what there's the problem or the issue is, but it'll also give you the path to the solution too. And each person is unique in that. And that's where it
Yeah.
gets interesting. Like even in business, like sometimes like I've had some clients come through and they had to work on some stuff, and like, I'll give them the prompts and I've helped them journal. We'll also work through a lot of the analysis and the
Mhm.
coaching space, right?
Mm.
But it's really their subconscious mind that's already knows what they need to be doing and
Yeah.
how to do it. And I'm just trying to help them navigate through that. And so that's why each one's unique and it's very interesting. And it's like there's so many different ways to be a creative that it makes me be creative as a coach too.
Mm.
And that's why I like to bring in different strategies, like if you're using the IFS or the NLP or the dream analysis or just regular good old coaching, the help empower, right? And I would love to get into hypnosis someday and bring in some of these strategies too.
Mm.
But at the end of the day, the subconscious mind is
Yeah.
definitely dictating what's going on. And I leave room for the subconscious mind to do that
Mm.
intentionally. Because I think there's power in that. And it is very empowering. And for clients to sit there and say, that was within me the whole time, like
Mm.
to know that they are their own internal guiding system. They don't need me to guide them. I've
Mhm.
just helped coaching them. Their
Right.
their mind is guiding them, right?
Mm.
It's giving them the information they need to be innovative. It's telling them which path to take, how to do it. It's lighting it up. That's why I say sometimes it's the yellow brick road a
Mm.
little.
Mhm.
But to know that when you're going through hard times or struggling or you really don't know what to do, and everyone wants to seek external information or advice, but they're ignoring the most valuable part within themselves that actually already knows the answer of what they want to be doing and how to do it.
Mm.
And I
Mm.
think when they realize that, they've that's right there. Like I grew up in a religious background where they're like, "Oh, you have a guardian angel or you're never alone," and
Yeah.
what does that even mean, especially when you actually feel alone? But when you dive into your dreamscapes and
Mm.
you see, wow, like my subconscious mind is actually has all these different characters and partners that are all me, and you're
Mhm.
there supporting yourself, you're cheering yourself on, you're trying to heal yourself, you're your own healer, your own guiding system, your own navigation, your own problem solver, your own innovative.
Mm.
You actually have all the tools you need already to find success in life. It's all within
Mm.
you, and we're each
Yeah.
unique in that way too. So
Mm.
that's why I was like, I can't sit there and say it's A plus B equals C, or X plus Y equals Z. No, everyone's very unique, but and that's why I love working with the subconscious mind and like this, what I call the trifecta of creative genius, because
Mm.
it is creative and it is a genius and it's
Yeah.
brilliant.
Mm.
I think at the end of the day, a lot of people underestimate themselves on a very serious level. And if you
Yeah.
really just knew how your own mechanics worked like that, you would
Yeah.
I try to not get too much external information anymore from advice from people. I was like, oh, it's already in the computer
Mm.
in my system. I was like, it's just learning how to like communicate with yourself basically on a level like that.
Yeah. No, beautiful. Very well. Very well said. I think this is what we need, everyone, is that we all have what it takes inside us, but no need to look at outside or outer space and waste our energy and resources that we already have. So I think I 100% resonate with that concept of yours. So coming to this, another thing which I wanted to curious about is like why and how our mind works is different for everyone and anyone. However, as you rightly said, that we all have within us to achieve what we want to achieve or what we want to do, rather than achieving. Achieving is a word that people get labeled, and then when they don't achieve something, they get depressed or dejected, or So I always say that, you have everything that you can do rather than can achieve. because achieve is makes you expectations too much, gives you a lot of expectations. So when you are into that mode of expectations and unexpectations, certainty and uncertainty, how does you as a coach now see the mind of a human works, basically, in
Yeah.
terms of, that area?
It's interesting because I see it as like an individual level and a mass collective level with society.
Yeah.
Um, right? So when we look, I always kind of go back to the internal family system, right? But we have it on a micro and macro level.
Mm-hmm.
So the macro affects the micro affects the other. So
Mm-hmm.
we kind of conditioned ourselves as a society to be like, okay, this is what success looks like. This is what happiness looks like. These are what all of these things look like. And everyone needs to follow suit and like this is how you do it. And I think when at the end of the day, if you're not actually feeling motivated or finding success in something like that, it's because you're not actually doing what it means for you on your value system.
Mm-hmm.
So I think that's a big blocker in why people aren't experiencing happiness or success or what they feel because they're trying to meet it by some other means of standards that are not actually theirs.
Yeah.
But when you dive into your own mind, um, a lot of that is like created for you. You see what you actually feel towards that. Um, so it's maybe not so much, I guess I'm not explaining it mechanically
Mm-hmm.
necessarily, but I'm explaining it in a sense of the influence. Mechanically, again, I would always go back to what I break down as the trifecta of going from your soul, your subconscious mind, and your conscious mind. I
Yep.
think when you're clearing out your system and it's all aligned like an engine, you're
Mm,
able to actually function and properly. And you're not going to struggle so much with what those things mean to you,
mm,
or you're going to be more empowered. Like success is going to look different. You'll be like, when someone else finds success in their way they did it, you're going to be proud of them, but you're not going to feel the need to compete with that or take from them to have for
yep.
yourself, because you have your own creative way of coming about that.
Mm.
And you'll feel it within on what that would look like. um, I hope that made sense a little bit.
Yeah, because why I asked you is like certainties give you that comfort and convenience level, but uncertainties give you that anxiety, that something that you are going in an unknown territory where your expectations are really not met, and then you have got so much of frustration, anxiety,
Yeah.
all of that happens. That's
A
why
good
from that angle, yeah.
Yeah, and a good example, like the education systems,
Mm-hmm.
especially in the States, are set up around one certain brain type, right?
Mm-hmm.
And
Mm-hmm.
if you're not able to keep up in the classrooms, you're put in special ed classes, which are kind of all over the place. I'm dyslexic, so like I always had a hard time with the way I processed information and put it back out. It's
Mm-hmm.
very different, and it doesn't fit the most standard classroom strategy, right? So I always did better one-on-one, and like the way I
Mm-hmm.
did, it's just odd. Like I can't always verbally explain it, but like I could sense like the way I
Sure.
process everything is just very different. But I'm telling you, but I grew up thinking I was stupid
Mm,
because of that, because I wasn't fitting the mold or the standard of what was normal or supposed to be successful or smart.
mm,
But then I find out, I'm actually very brilliant and I have a very deep understanding of the way things work in a very unique way. Um, so I think all brains are like that, and I know we
mm,
talk about that a lot, especially like I'm sure it's worldwide at this point, but in the States, it's a very common topic, especially the education
mm,
system of,
mm.
how do we help with people who have autism or people who have special needs or
Correct.
people who are dyslexic, left
Yeah.
brain, right brain? How are
Yeah.
we functioning? There is no normal at that point,
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Um,
Yeah. No, I agree 100%.
it's like these cookie cutter brains. There is no such thing. So it's embracing your own power of your own brain and how you function. People with ADHD. I heard someone say once, if you have ADHD, you basically have a Ferrari as a brain.
Mm.
Like, and I'm like, okay, that's awesome. And
Yeah.
when you know how you function and work and how you productivity comes to you the best, then you're
Yeah.
on fire and you're going and you feel amazing about yourself. So with brain
I,
types, it gets really interesting. But that's why I was like, there's no cookie cutter way, even with my coaching space. It's very much like, how do you work? How are we
yeah.
going to get it going? And your brain already knows how it works. It just
Mm. Sorry, I think
There you go.
Yeah, there was some technical. What were you saying? Sorry.
Oh, I don't know where it stopped. I was just saying, your brain already knows how it works.
Yeah.
It's just trying
Yeah.
to get you to consciously figure it out or catch up,
Yeah.
or go
Yeah.
with the flow.
Yeah.
So
So
that's why
pretty
I said
much
it's
what
all right there.
pretty much what you're saying is that our mind is more like a sea like a fluid. There is no kind of stop gaps or stops or anything. It's just fluid, and you just have to manage in that fluidity where all the things are coming at one time or sometimes in bits and pieces, but there is no pattern as such. So, when you talked about conscious mind, subconscious mind, soul, your everything that aligns, that comes together, but it doesn't come all the three together. It comes in bits and pieces or it comes all together. But you are the one who is going to make those choices and transitional changes that you want to pick and choose. But there is no such thing as you can pick and choose, but you have to go through that fluid and you have to manage it, basically. Is that something that I personally felt after talking to you, that it's our brain, our mind, our everything is more like a fluid where you can't say, I'm going to stop here in advance. It comes and you have to take that decision to stop or not. It comes and it flows, and you have to make a decision whether you have to move ahead or not, basically. That's what I look at it. But
That's
anyway, so
beautiful.
which is what I want to now we are coming to close to the end. I wanted to ask you, how would you define, since this topic of human mind consciousness and all the listeners who are listening, what would be your message to all the listeners, and including myself, that when it comes to human mind, when it comes to consciousness of human mind, and when you are uh, dealing with all these subconscious mind and conscious mind, what would be your message for a simple mindset to have, so that our emotional well-being is not affected that level where we tend to affect our emotional well-being because of our conscious thinking, because of our subconscious thinking, because of our restrictions, because of our stuck in one mode, one pattern. What would be your message to make it a little bit more fluid, to make it a little bit more easy for your emotional well-being, so that at any given point of time, your mind is mind, your thoughts are thoughts, they will keep coming. But what's your message to that, to make your emotional well-being very much into intact with your own zone, that you don't get into a different dimension altogether? Because you know how people get stuck, people get depressed, and people go into a different tangent altogether. So, what would be your message to all the listeners in regard to
Okay.
that?
Well, with that in the direction, your emotions and everything that's going on in your system is actually quite brilliant, and it's all trying to communicate with you in your
Hmm.
conscious mind, right?
Yeah.
So start learning how to understand and interact with yourself and to process and emotionally regulate, right?
Hmm.
And to realize that every part of you is actually very brilliant and
Hmm.
it's very mechanical.
Hmm.
And when we learn how to understand and communicate with these parts of ourselves, we like take it to the next level of consciousness. But we're not only improving our lives, but we're actually improving the human race as well. And I think it's a part of our next evolution
Hmm.
with the levels of consciousness. So I just to empower yourself to,
Yeah.
and first learn how to communicate with yourself so you can empower yourself
Mm.
and to progress
Mm.
forward. And I know that's probably easier said than done, but it's such a beautiful journey and it's such a complex journey, but it just shows how beautiful we really are. And I like to explain the journey as like its own mythology experience. And it really opens you up to this perception of just us as a human race and you as an individual, and it's just
Hmm.
absolutely it's absolutely beautiful.
Mm.
Um, so I think as I
Yeah.
guess I'll leave it with that. But no, I just, I tell people all the time, I was like, I like to ask my clients and people I'm talking to in my audience, like, are
Hmm.
you using your brain? And
Hmm.
I don't mean it like
Yeah.
just, are you? and we have a brain, but are you utilizing it? Do you
Are
know
you
how
utilized?
powerful and strong and
Mm,
capable you really are?
mm,
In a society, I think we are kind of dumbed down a little bit. We have convenience, things are making it easier. We don't need to use our brains. And I think that is hurts humanity more. So
mm.
it's be empowered to use it. Take all your weirdness and all your interesting features and embrace it.
Oh, very, very well.
Add some color.
Yeah, no, I think you said very well. Beautiful. I think that's a good, powerful message that you look within yourself, look for your conscious, and that's what it is all about. When you say that use your brain, that means what indirectly you are saying to everyone that look, be conscious about there is a brain with for you within you, and you just have to utilize it. And you can only utilize it if you have consciously said that, yeah, you do have a brain when you say to yourself.
It's goofy. I always tell people I'm going to teach you how to use your brain, and it just sounds so ridiculous, but it catches people's attention.
Oh, well, sometimes people do get offended with that statement. Oh, am I not using my brain? What are you saying?
Yeah. Hey, they either catches their attention or they're just like they don't even want
Exactly,
to talk to me after that.
but it does make an impact. With that lighter note, I think it's beautiful, Chelsey, to have you on this amazing topic of my human mind, consciousness. And to all the listeners, Chelsey is always available for coaching, for your individual growth, for your business growth. She can easily define your goals and your visions and make it happen the way you want to. As she rightly said, that we all have brains, we all have conscious and subconscious, and she's a good guide for everything and anything that you need in your journey. So I would encourage everyone, but we will bring Chelsey once again back for this amazing deeper level topics which we generally tend to ignore, and then we suffer because we can't achieve these, we can't achieve that. But as she rightly said, use your brain and then you can do anything and everything. So with that note, very well said, Chelsey. Thank you so much for amazing, beautiful discussion and conversation I had with you today. I would like to take this opportunity to once again thank you and invite you once again for our future events and topics that we might encourage other listeners to, have their say and give them a good feedback about their questions if they have. And with that note, thanks, Chelsey. Your final word.
Thank you for having me, and I hope to hear from some of you because it'll be a beautiful journey.
Bye for now, all the listeners. And Chelsey, goodbye and take care.
Thank you.